Have you ever noticed every small town in America video on YouTube magically picks the same places? There's apparently no other towns in this country besides Sedona, Aspen, and that one place in Vermont where maple syrup legally counts as a personality trait. Well, I'm kind of tired of it too. So today we're digging into towns nobody talks about. The place is so underrated, so low-key, so off the radar that everyone's GPS is probably going to say, are you sure? When you try and drive there. These are real small towns under 10,000 residents with great livability scores, actual history, and shockingly, residents who aren't trying to escape on the next Greyhound. Are they all extremely affordable? No. Are they great places to live? Probably. Some of these places are gorgeous, some are weird, some are charming, and a few will make you question why you live anywhere else. So buckle up, hit that like button like a broken slot machine that can't lose, and let's take a road trip to 10 underrated American towns you're gonna look up on Zillow halfway through the video. Let's take a look. Number 10, Gulf Breeze, Florida. Gulf Breeze is the beach-adjacent, HOA-friendly cousin who remembers to take out the trash and still ends up on that neighborhood Facebook drama that's always going on. The livability score is a solid 75 on area vibes, and yes, the schools and the low crime numbers do all the heavy lifting. Gulf Breeze sits between Pensacola and Pensacola Beach. It's like this little spit of land that there's two bridges you gotta cross to get to Pensacola Beach from Pensacola. Now this is great if you like sand, sunsets, and pretending your flip-flops are formal wear. According to Zillow's typical home value, it sits around $470,000 here for just typical house. Waterfront premiums do their thing though. Back in September, they became compliant with Florida's new rule on painting crosswalks. Now, they didn't have any rainbow crosswalks that I knew of. They had some that were painted green, like they were white with inner part being green. Florida decided since there were so many of these rainbow crosswalks around the state, they would pass a law making it illegal to paint anything on the street or put any color on the street. But back in September, they finally became compliant with the state. It's like bureaucracy versus bright paint. Season 1, it was a hit. God help you if your kids get a hold of some sidewalk chalk while you're not looking. Now, Gulf Breeze only has a population of about 7,500. Their livability score, like I said, is 75. And the average home value, according to Zillow, is $470,000. Number 9, Livingston, Montana. This is a town that is only there because of the railroad. It was a train depot since 1902. For some reason, it brought in a lot of artists and writers in its time, and it became an angling HQ. The fly fishing is big here. It sits on the mouth of the Paradise Valley like it's auditioning for a fly fishing catalog. Their old train depot is still there. It's part of their historic vibe they got going on in this town. Now, they still got train tracks there, but they haven't had any passenger rail service since 1979 when Amtrak discontinued the North Coast Hiawatha line. Since 1987, the restored building has anchored Livingston's downtown historic district as the Livingston Depot Center. Beautiful old buildings are there. It's amazing. But Livingston has a solid 77 livability score, strong across the board. I mean, everything's middle of the road or a little above average. It's also got the Yellowstone River, which helps supply a year-round identity. Fish, float, repeat. It's got more grit than your average resort town, and importantly, it has residents that stick around in February. You get those resort towns and they just become ghost towns when then it gets cold, you know? If you ever think about moving here, the homes aren't that cheap. It's Montana after all, and it's become very popular over the last decade or so. So the average home value is over $500,000. But you're buying mountain skylines plus a downtown that still sells used books and good coffee. And they even get some spicy news occasionally. A local woman made death threats against the city manager over some bulb out crosswalks or something like it was like some lighting fixture on the street. She felt it was necessary to tell him he could leave now or be hunted. And she made some other references to getting his off button pushed. You think HOAs are crazy. Livingston is a very attractive town, and it's a nice place to live if you want to get away from big cities. I mean, you're a good distance away from Bozeman, and Bozeman isn't even really that big of a city. It's got a pretty good livability score, and the houses are a little expensive, but this video isn't about the cheapest places to live. It's about the nicest places to live, and sometimes that comes with a price. The population of Livingston, Montana is about 8,400. Their livability score is 77, and the average home value is about $519,000. Number 8, Farmville, Virginia. Nope, it's not that old Facebook game. It's a real place, and a good one. Farmville posts a 79 livability score on area vibes, and has a downtown that mixes college energy, Longwood University, old railroad bones, and a state park trail that absolutely eats drone footage for breakfast. This town is in rural Virginia between Lynchburg and Richmond, and I think the college takes up about half the town. This is another town, sadly, that had to cut back on some of the services the local hospital provides because of different cuts to Medicaid and stuff. They'll no longer offer labor and delivery services at the Farmville Hospital, which that's a real bummer, especially if you're trying to grow your town. That's very important, especially if you're trying to draw in younger families. But it's still a great place to live. It's the kind of town where your morning ride can turn into a Civil War era overlook, and your evening ends up at a place where the waitress calls you hun without irony. Overall, this is one of the nicer parts of Virginia to live in my opinion, and it's not terribly expensive yet. Farmville's population is about 7,400. Their livability score is 79, and the average home value is about $257,000. Not bad. Number 7, Galena, Illinois. Galena was a 19th century boomtown built on lead, hence the name. Galena is the Latin word for lead sulfate. That's sexy. How do you not name a town that? I wonder if anyone's ever tried to name a town in Arizona. Depleted Uranium, Arizona. That would be a catchy little name. But this town was built on lead and river trade. It later reinvented itself as a preserved historic showpiece where Ulysses S. Grant's footsteps are tourism gold. Today it's known for its cobblestone streets and its bed and breakfast places. This economy never met a weekend it didn't like. Now the livability score here is high, with safety and affordability both scoring very well. Translation, your evening stroll is more window shopping and church bells than explaining to a guy with a gun that you don't have any cash, you haven't touched cash in 5 years. It's all digital now. Zillow pegs typical home values well under the national average of about $440,000. It's got historic charm without the Chicago mortgage headache. For a town that hosts more festivals than your calendar app can handle, that's a fair trade. Galena's 2025 event slate is stuffed. Holiday stuff, concerts, wine weekends, the kind of small town programming that keeps sidewalks busy and the hot chocolate machine employed. Galena is a cute place to live. It's not too far away from the Mississippi River and the Iowa border. It's also about an hour and a half away from Rockford, Illinois, which is very good, and 2.5 hours away from Chicago, which is even better. If you want to visit another state, you have 2 options, Iowa or Wisconsin. They're both within a short drive. Galena has a population of about 3,000. Their livability score is 80, which is outstanding. Anything above, let's say 74, is pretty good. The average home value here is $305,000, so this place is decent and affordable. And you probably never heard of it. Number 6, Hood River, Oregon. Hood River is a wind sport capital masquerading as a farm town, or maybe the other way around. Either way, it's got an 80 livability score, which is outstanding, and has a main street that could sell you a kayak and a bike tune-up without breaking stride. I was just there a few months back. Beautiful small town. So this is Hood River. It's been a few years since I've been here, but it's more amazing than the last time I was here. This is such a cool little town. If you ever get a chance and you want to visit Oregon and you don't want to visit Portland, try Hood River. It's an amazing, cute little town. Right on the Columbia River, I love this town. Housing is spendy here. Typical home value, a little under $700,000. But the payoff is front row seats to the Columbia River Gorge, where every view looks like a screensaver from your first office job. In the Hood River news, the region is marching towards replacing the century-old Hood River White Salmon Bridge. Yeah, this one needs to be replaced or fixed. It's not that, it's kind of shady. I've been on it. Tighten your backside a little bit when you drive across this thing. This is also a town that's always on those happiest place lists. And I totally get that. They got about 8,300 residents. Their livability score, like I said, is 80. And the average home value here is $698,000. Like I said, a little spendy, but it might be worth it if you can afford it. Number 5, Salida, Colorado. Salida is Colorado's hidden gem. No kidding. If you like the outdoors, if you're a river rat, this is a perfect place to live. It's got mountain biking, hiking, it's surrounded by mountains, it sits about 7,000 feet above sea level, and the Arkansas River flows right through town, in case you got some of that river rat energy going in you. The typical home here, it's kind of expensive. It's over $700,000 because apparently the price of mountain peace and quiet now includes a part-time job and a GoFundMe. Half the town looks like a postcard and the other half looks like the Arkansas River doing parkour. But here's the twist. Live here long enough and you'll realize that Salida's real economy isn't tourism or art. It's locals selling "I'm not a tourist" stickers to other locals who just moved here 6 months ago. Yeah, they got a problem with new people moving in, and they want you to know that they've been here a while, so you'll see these bumper stickers. The oldest whitewater festival in America is here. This year it ran from June 12th to June 15th, filling the town with boats, bands, and the one guy who insists on explaining eddies to strangers. Perfect June footage for your life isn't boring Instagram post. Salida has a population of just over 6,000 people with a livability score of 83, and their average home value is $709,000. Number 4, Sisters, Oregon. Sisters is basically a mountain dream someone accidentally turned into a functioning town. The Three Sisters peaks watch over the place like giant snow-covered bodyguards, and the downtown intentionally looks like the Old West decided to put on deodorant and clean up a little bit. With a livability score in the 80s, Sisters is peaceful, scenic, hyper-walkable, and full of the kind of people who own at least one dog with a backpack. But to be totally honest, this place is terribly expensive, especially when it comes to buying a home. Because the views are ridiculous and hikers keep moving here for one summer and never leaving. The big annual event, the legendary Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. Thousands of quilts hung across the town like Instagram bait for grandmothers and fiber arts fanatics. It's a special event even if you haven't knitted anything or sewn anything since 1999. It's still interesting. This is a great town and they love people to visit, but they're getting kind of annoyed with people moving there. That doesn't mean you can't. Their population is still kind of low, but in 2000 they had less than 1,000 people. 2010 they had 2,000 people. 2020 they had 3,000 people. Since then the estimate is they've gained another 500. The population is 3,500. Livability score is 80, which is solid. And according to Zillow, the average home value is $803,000. Number 3, Lititz, Pennsylvania. Lititz looks like someone let a Norman Rockwell painting loose with a planning commission. Its roots go back to the 1700s. The town still hosts events like it's allergic to boredom, and the brick storefronts remind you what Main Street was before Main Street got replaced by 6-lane roads with a mattress barn every 200 feet. The livability score is a solid 84. High marks for amenities, crime, schools, and the general feeling that your neighbor will return your leaf blower before you notice it's gone. It's the kind of place that you'll bump into someone you know like 3 different times on one coffee run. Housing here is not cheap, but it's not the worst. Zillow puts Lititz around $445,000 for a typical home. It is a beautiful town and it's very historic and it's one of those weekend trips everyone takes. So they do have some homes that get a little pricey. They have a lot of festivals, including the Fire and Ice Festival, which is carved sculptures and people wandering the streets. The whole winter is a basic carnival package. There's only one town I think is better in Pennsylvania than Lititz, and that's Honesdale. I love Honesdale. I've told you guys that all before. Lititz has a population of about 9,600. Their livability score is 84, and like I said, the typical home or the average home value goes for about $445,000. Number 2, Leavenworth, Washington. Leavenworth is one of the only towns in America that woke up one day and said, you know what, we're Bavaria now. And then they just did it. They changed the front of all the buildings to give that alpine mountain themed everything. They have a killer Oktoberfest, but that's not the best part. One of the best parts about Leavenworth is their Christmas festival. Oh my God, it's amazing. And it's tucked far away from Seattle in the mountains, so it takes a while to get there, but it's worth it. If you ever want to take the Amtrak, go into Seattle and the Amtrak takes you right there. I think it gets you there like at midnight or something, so that kind of sucks, but still. With a livability score of 84, it's a solid place to live. It's stupidly safe, ridiculously scenic, and aggressively festive. Now, because it's so nice, it's a little pricey. The typical home goes for about $675,000, which is worth it. It's a beautiful town, and if you want to go, Christmas Town is a month-long lighting spectacle, and it goes from November 28th to December 24th. It's got choirs, Santa cameos, and enough LED to make your camera's white balance cry. If you want to visit, get a good camera. Your phone is nice. Get a decent camera to where you could walk around, like a DJI Pocket 3. I love those cameras. Last time I was there, filmed everything with it. I'll leave a link for one of those in the description area below. The population of Leavenworth, Washington is only about 2,400. Their livability, 84, and like I said, their average home value is about $674,000. All right, if you're thinking about moving to one of these perfect towns, there's a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, New Glarus, Wisconsin. New Glarus is Little Switzerland, and I mean it. Alphorns, chalet architecture, and a brewery that Wisconsinites treat with the same reverence other states give to national forests. They have a solid livability score of 87. It's one of the safest, friendliest, most functional small towns in the upper Midwest. It's tidy, cheerful, and the cheese selection is dangerous. New Glarus is a nice place to be if you like small towns that aren't too close to big cities. Madison is the closest big city, about 30 minutes away. In recent news, the Beer, Bacon, and Cheese Festival, yes, that's the real name, packed downtown in June. It sounded exactly like what a cardiologist warned you about, but everyone had a blast, so it's all good. The population of New Glarus is about 2,200. Like I said, livability score of 87, and the average home value, according to Zillow, is $346,000. Excellent. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Everybody go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.